Angela. Hi, I'm Hollie Olson. I am from the Cadillac chapter in D1. And a little history about me. I joined the Jaycees in 2003, so I've been 14 years. And I've only become active probably in the last, I would say, 5 years. I just kind of laid low for my first few years. And just recently started becoming more involved. For 2017, I have been on the programming team and as a programming director, and it's been a great experience so far. I'm really excited for conference coming up. And I've, throughout my years as Cadillac JC, I've held various board positions for our local chapter, and ranging anywhere from membership VP to community VP, secretary, and in 2016 I was president. And then, like I said, this past year I'm on the programming team for the state, and of course chairman of the board for Cadillac as well. So I'm really excited to go for the next step in my JC career, which would be a D1 director. And this is just something I'm very excited about, to be able to just bring our chapters together. For anyone who's not familiar with District 1, we are very spread out in the north. So there is a lot of traveling involved, and a big goal of mine for 2018 would be to just bring in the communication, just basically B1 and D1. I want us to have that unity to just do more together as a team. So that is kind of where I'm going with my campaign, is just to bring us all together and just do more. So I feel like the more we could come together as a district, the more we could do for the state. So I'm very excited, and I just hope that I can get the job done, and that everyone believes in me that I could do it as well.
If anyone knows me, they just handed me a microphone. It's kind of scary.
There's a time limit.
So I am Rebecca Markonni. I am currently president of the Westland Area Jaycees. I joined the Jaycees in October of 2002. So I think that a lot of people refer to us as seasoned members. I've been on different board positions, primarily as VP. My favorite has always been IDVP, kind of my heart lies in IDVP. I have taken a while to get to the presidency and kind of moving in my JC career, because I took some time to raise some kids, 5. Raise my husband too, he counts for 2 more. But also in that time, I received a master's degree, and so I took some time for me, and now it's time for me to start excelling in my JC career. And my heart has always been with my local area. When I joined the Jaycees in 2002, it was District H.
Region H.
Oh, Region H.
Yes.
It's been a while. And there was such a camaraderie within our district, and all the chapters showed up to everything for each other, and there was such a support system. And I was inspired by Dan Mullering this year when he presented his platform of hanging together in D4. And I really like that idea. Hanging out amongst the different chapters, hanging out with each other, it builds camaraderie, friendship, a little bit of legacy, lays the groundwork for our future JCs. I know that through hanging together, my children have met other kids from other chapters, which makes them feel like they're part of something. So in 2 years, when my son will be old enough, or 3 years, will be old enough to be a JC, he will be a JC. And 4 years after that, or in 4 years, my next son will be as well. And so my goal this year is to continue building camaraderie. I would love to see more visitations happening. And I would like to encourage that by doing things such as incentives. I would like to continue the socials that have been going on. Perhaps even throwing some awards in there. That was something that we used to do a long time ago, was district awards. Kind of showcases what's going around in the district and let others know what awesome things are happening around you. And I guess we're pretty blessed in D4 because I can drive from one side of the district to the next in an hour. And that's a pretty awesome thing. I know I heard Hollie saying that it's a pretty large span that she has to go. And so there isn't a reason why we shouldn't be supporting each other. 1 minute. Okay. See, I told you guys, give me the microphone. But I would love the opportunity to be able to bring some of these ideas and hopefully stand behind the state board and creating some of those groundworks for legacy and continuing hanging out in D4. Thanks, guys.
So from previous experience, I know that a very important part of being a district director is supporting the chapter presidents in your district. So if a chapter president came to you with a situation they were really frustrated, what's the best advice that you could give them? Is this for both candidates?
Yes.
Here we are with the microphone again.
That's delegation.
I guess, it's really circumstantial. I mean, the problem may not be something I can answer, but I certainly will find somebody that would. I don't have all the answers, and I think I learned that best this year as president, that things get thrown at you and you don't always know how to take care of them. And so I guess I can delegate too.
Great job. I was actually thinking the same thing, is that there's just so many situations out there that can happen, whether it's a personality difference or if something's just going on. And you really do have to just take it as it comes and just use our prior experience in our JC career. We've all been through different things, good and bad, and just take our experience, try to help them as much as possible. Same thing as Becky said is, just if I can't figure it out, then find someone who can.
Peter, you're going last. Hello, ladies. My question for you is about the chapters that are expanding in your district and what kind of support you have to help them become full-blown chapters and get moving and activated. That's for you guys.
That's teamwork. So District 1 is in the process of trying to make Gaylord a chapter, and Beth Michaels is taking that on, and she's doing a great job so far. And I would love to be there to help support, to help recruit, to do whatever she needs help with, or the chapter needs help with, to become bigger, stronger ideas. Just with anything in life, trying to get something started, you need a base, and then you need that guidance to. You may have one vision, but then there's so many other different ways that you can go to just expand that and give whatever I can to offer. Always be there for support. Obviously, that's huge. And just do as much as I can. Communication is huge, so I wouldn't just want to leave them hanging. So just always keep it open for communication, contact information, and go visit.
So there's not any great grandiose things going on so much in D4 when it comes to this. However, I do know that Detroit has been trying to really build, what's that? South Wayne County, is that, okay, it was listed as Detroit for a while and looked online it is
It's
too,
different.
so.
Yeah, different chapter.
Okay, well either way, so obviously they need some help. And I'm hoping that I could myself, with years of experience, and I'm surrounded by a ton of people with a ton of experience, that perhaps we can go over there and see what's going on. I haven't made a visitation out there. I would love to see what's happening, see if it is something that we can build from. It would be awesome to have a chapter in Detroit and flourishing. But I also know that there's some chapters that have kind of struggled in D4. Would love to help Farmington Hills build up again, and I know they're working hard. I know the president over there has exhausted herself trying, and so I would love to see where I could lend a hand.
that was kind of my question on what you wanted to do to expand to those 2 chapters. Gaylord, for example, should be chartered by the end of next month, and Nikki is working on Southern Wayne County. My question for you specifically, one community in your district that you think you could do an extension in next year. To continue growing our organization, we need to continue growing chapters. So where would you see that you could extend a chapter next year in your district?
For District 1, there's a couple of options. Traverse City used to be a chapter. Traverse City was actually brought up in conversation just last night, as well as with my brother-in-law and sister. We were talking about it. He thought that Traverse City was still a chapter, and they haven't been for years. I think there's a lot of potential there. Also, another chapter in the UP, I think would be great. Something maybe more towards the Sioux. Escanaba or Delta County is quite a far ways over. But if we could have something else also in the UP, I think that would be a good benefit.
So in my personal opinion, there's a whole lot in the middle of D4. So we've got, Redford, Farmington, Livonia, Westland, but kind of the outskirts. So we've got Rochester on one end, we've got Wyandotte on the other. And in between the middle and those ends, there's not a whole lot. And it would be nice to at least even possibly place one on each end, or in the middle of those ends. Oakland County, huge county, largest county I believe in Michigan, and we only have 2 chapters in the entire Oakland County, 48 cities. So it would be interesting to see if we could build something in Oakland County to start with.
I saw Jessica's
hand go up first and then Faye's.
morning, ladies. I'm curious to know what you've been hearing from members in your district about those socials and incentives that have been implemented this year, and maybe an idea that you could share with us about how to improve those socials to not only get more people involved, but also reach kind of the outside crowd that we're really trying to get engaged.
So Dan has done really well with starting up these socials this year, and I think we can only build from there. We need to make sure that the members are being involved in creating those. I think that even grabbing a focus group essentially from each chapter, get them involved, because if you have people help build it, then they'll come and their friends will come. Incentives was another thing. I would love to see incentives come to inspire others to especially go out to those outskirts of like Rochester and Wyandotte. I've got some fun ideas for that as well. Some gift card ideas from local cities and from the different chapters. And it is about camaraderie too. And I think that embracing the theme and having t-shirts and feeling like you're part of a group will also help inspire people to want to come out and hang out with each other.
I think Becky pretty much covered it. Good job. Basically the same thing that she did say, but I've gotten a lot of good feedback on the socials and the trainings and socials and trainings. And I think it's really opened up. We had a great turnout for competitions in May, and I would love to see that continue. And even in D1, we had a great turnout to our last social, which is huge. Like I said, there's a lot of distance. People have to travel, and a lot of people showed up, and they showed interest. And I do think it was more focused towards the membership, but we did offer it out and say, hey, each member that is going to attend this, bring a friend. See what we do, we have fun, and we learn all at the same time. So I think it's a great thing. It's a wonderful year, and to continue that and grow stronger, I think it can only be a good thing.
This will be our final question for the district directors. Thank you. Good morning, ladies.
So the social aspect of the district director role is certainly important. Bringing people together is very important. However, in your role as a district director, accountability to the chapters in their membership growth and being thriving chapters is very important. So I want to understand what steps you're going to take when you see a struggling chapter, whether it be a weak board, lack of membership recruitment, lack of membership engagement. What types of tough steps are you going to take to ensure those chapters have everything that they need to be successful?
Well, I think that being a leadership training organization is kind of where we start. And generally when there's issues like membership or activation or so on and so forth, sometimes it's just a lack of knowledge and how to, and that's when you bring in people who know. That's when you bring in speakers, that's when you talk to the board. It's action speaks louder than words. I could talk all day long and tell you how to do it, but I can come and show you. And so I really think more of a hands-on approach.
I agree. And off of that, also getting to the basic of, okay, so where are you starting? What are you doing? What are you not doing? If you can find out what isn't being done first and go from there and grow, and then just figure out what the problem is. Obviously, the problem would be that they're not thriving at this time, so how can we make that better? But to determine, okay, what have they tried? And go from that point, and then just go further, and then bring it to the state, to our training directors, and use each other to expand that.
Well, and one of the things that we do in my profession is a thing called a root cause analysis. And it's a tedious process, but when something drastic happens, it's about breaking it down into actions and really finding the cause. A lot of the times what's superficial and right in front of your face isn't the cause. It's something that's kind of underlying, possibly is something that's being done more often than you think, and you won't know that until you really break into it.
Great, thank you, ladies. Everyone give them a round of applause.
Good morning, ladies and gentlemen. Thank you so much for being here today to meet our candidates. Your first candidate has been a JC since 2007. She's held just about every role on her local board, including treasurer, more times than she wants to count because she's done it enough. She also in 2011 served as your state programming manager, and I'm really excited to see what she's going to do in 2018 to help equip our leaders in this organization. So please help me welcome Sarah Austin.
Good morning, Michigan Jaycees. So as April mentioned, I have been a JC since 2007. So I'm one of those seasoned JCs, as Becky pointed out. As April mentioned, when I served as a program manager in 2011, I was the competitions program manager. And competitions is something, the professional skills competitions is something that's very passionate for me. I've witnessed firsthand how our competitions programming has grown our members. I've seen members who, when they first joined the organization, were afraid to stand up and introduce themselves during a GMM, who now have gone on to do public speaking and built confidence in their ability to stand in front of crowds. So competitions is kind of where my passion and background was on the state level. As April also mentioned, I've served multiple different roles: community vice president, management vice president, treasurer, a gosh, long time. And throughout my 10 years, almost 10 years as a JC, I've seen this organization change and grow. And I think that my experience with 10 years of serving on both sides, both on the state level as well as on the local level, has given me a unique perspective on where things are working and where we successfully change things and where we could still have a little bit more tweaking. So as April mentioned, my theme this year is equipping tomorrow's leaders. And the reason I came up with that theme was as I was talking about what I wanted to see the Michigan Jaycees do over the next year, it was a lot of the word tools and toolbox kept coming up. We've got great tools on the state level. We have great tools on the local level. But a lot of times we're not connecting those tools with the members that need them. For example, we have great chapters that run great projects throughout this state. But as mentioned, Michigan geographically has a wide distance. So something that's going on in Delta County, unless it's posted on Posted Here, and let's be honest, posted more than once on Posted Here, because that Posted Here goes over and over and over again, we may not know of other chapters that are doing great projects throughout the state. So I'm going to use a local example. I'm a Westland area JC, and some of you may know that Westland holds a Kansas City barbecue competition every year. So there may be another chapter that is thinking about doing a chili cook-off or something along those food competition way of doing things. If they know Westland does this, they can reach out to Westland and say, hey, what did you guys find your first year that were like the major pitfalls? And because one chapter has already kind of cut the path, it makes the next chapter be able to overcome some of those obstacles that that first chapter encountered. Now, I'm not saying everybody needs to have cookie cutter projects. That's not what I'm saying at all. But we've had a lot of legwork and footwork done in this organization that we can learn from. So giving an opportunity for continuing building the SPE profiles so that chapters that are looking to run a project can look at what other chapters have done, look at PMGs, talk to the past chair people, talk to people who were at the event to find out what things you may want to overcome. Because let's be honest, as JCs, we aren't really great about flaunting our flaws when we run a project. But I'll be honest with you, if a member comes to me and says, we're looking to do a competition type of cooking event, what do you want, what did you learn from it? There's a lot of things that we don't advertise that went wrong that we'd love to share with somebody else so they didn't have to go through the same situation. So building upon that SPE database, allowing members a greater ability to participate in both the SPE process and the competitions programming. It's a large state, and sometimes it's not the easiest thing to be able to make it to a competition. So finding a way to continue building on the competitions programming that's been happening this year throughout the districts is a huge way to improve that. Also, we've been around for over 90 years. I'm sure that there are some of the seasoned members or roosters or associates or however you want to call them that have some really great ideas of some programs that worked 15, 20 years ago that maybe didn't work 10 years ago but could be revamped and done now. So I think there's a lot of possibilities in this organization, and I want to equip our members to be able to take them. Thank you.
Thank you. Sorry, I do have a piece of paper. I don't want to do any alternative facts, so wrote down some. So I'm Nikki Kolinsky.
And I'm Jamie Dormeyer.
And we're here to introduce you to your candidate for Membership Vice President, Steve FAPPAS. Steve is a member of the Wyandotte Jaycees, where he and his wife Cara have been members for nearly 14 years. And by being a member, I know, right? By being a member for that long, it has allowed Steve to observe everything on multiple levels within the organization. He's been able to see what programs have worked, which ones may not have worked quite as well, and which programs have been lost in the transition that he would like to see come back. And for those of you that know Steve, you know that he's a people person. So he really wants to get back down to getting our members active, making sure that on local levels we're doing everything to make the new members feel needed. But before I stand here and give Steve's entire speech for him, I'm going to have Jamie give you a little more on Steve's history.
And I'm going to read it because he's done so much, I don't want to miss any of it. So like Nikki has already said, that Steve is a valuable member of Wyandotte Jaycees. He's been their president twice, the chairman of the board twice, membership VP twice, and membership director. On the state level, he's been a district director, our financial management program manager, president's coach, and he's currently the secretary. Locally, he is won JC of the Year and board member of the year. Page 2. On a state level, he is a 2-time first place overall membership winner. He has also won Michigan Jaycees Brownfield, Outstanding Local Vice President Tom Stark, 2-time David Liguala, 2-time Martin P. Luffy, CW Bill Auto Chapter, 3-time Presidential Medallion recipient, and outstanding board member. So, without further ado, Steve FAPPAS.
Hey guys. Yeah, I know you guys. It's crazy meeting all you guys here. So I'm Steve FAPPAS, as you've heard, I've been a member for a long time. And I'd like to thank my wife Sarah and my children for believing in me, supporting me, and giving me the opportunity to follow my dreams, which is serve in the membership vice president for the Michigan Jaycees role. I'd also like to thank Nikki and Jamie, and Sarah's also on the campaign team for helping me get elected, and really just having a lot of fun getting out there and getting the vision out there to the chapters. And also, they'd like to stick on the Wolfpack team and be part of the membership squad next year. And really help bring the vision of the membership vice president to the state. So my platform really is pretty simple. It's 5 things. And it's activation, retention, growth, communication, and fun. And fun is at the heart of all of it. And really, if you're having fun, you're doing it right. And if you're not having fun, you should come see me. And the most important thing outside of that is activation. So we do a pretty good job at recruiting members. And if we're not activating those members, we're not going to retain those members. And if we're not activating and retaining our members, we're not going to grow. So I learned some facts recently from the national Jaycees, and it's basically, if you're not activated in your first year, there's a 50-50 chance that you're going to remain a member. That means nationally we're losing up to half of our members, 50%. If you're not activated, you won't retain your first year. If you go through 2 years, you have a 65% chance, and if you get 3 years, there's an 85% chance that you will stay a JC until you age out. So we have some good numbers once you get to 3 years, but it's that first year, it's that first 30 days, the first 60 days, first 90 days, that I'd really like to help chapters activate their members so that they become active JCs, so that we can retain those members. And when we retain those members, we will then grow, and that's so important to our organization. Being here for 14 years, I can tell a lot of you guys, and some have been here longer than me, we were 3,000-4,000 members strong that long ago. It's only a decade ago, and we're sitting out at 1,000 members. So we've made some great strides over the last couple of years, and we've had 2 growth years in a row. And I don't know if you guys understand this, I couldn't tell you the last time we've had 2 growth years in a row. And you damn well better believe we're going to continue it this year, we're going to continue that next year, and we're going to continue to inspire that legacy into the future. So activation, retention, super important for us to grow. I'm very excited to work with our district directors that are running. I'm so excited that Becky and Hollie came here today to share their vision. The other ones that couldn't be here aren't totally certified yet. I'm excited to work with them. I think we really need to bring the team together, do some great district trainings so that those trainings can go further out to our chapters. And we really need to have fun. And the Wolfpack thing is just, we're all part of the Wolfpack. And we need to share that mentality with everybody else. So we need to get other people that aren't JCs involved and say, hey, we're having fun, we're making a difference, we're inspiring legacy, we're building leaders. Come be a part of that. And when they see us enjoying that and having fun, that they're going to want to be a part of that too. And that's going to take us to the next level. So I'll do whatever it takes in my power to make sure we grow, that we're having fun, we're communicating with our members, and that we're a success. Thanks, guys. Vote for me.
That was great.
I don't know if you saw that.
Well, first I just want to say that I, of course, have had the privilege of working with both of you many times over the years, so I'm glad to see both of you moving forward and making this step. My question is a little difficult. The organization is based on 5 pillars: motivate, impact, invest, collaborate, and connect. Which of those 5 do you think is weakest in Michigan? And what can you do in your role to make that area stronger?
Well, since I won the rock, paper, scissors challenge, I'll go first. I really think connect is where we're weak, and not totally weak, because some people are doing it right. And we kind of need to take the chapters that are doing it right and the districts that are doing it right and use those as a model so we can learn how to better connect with our people. And some of the things that I want to do in the invest portion, I think you can be a numbers guy and you can run out there and just try to grow in numbers, but if you don't invest in your members, we're not growing as an organization, and that's so important. And I don't know, all of those, there's certain things that we do well and certain things we could have some help with, but really connection is where it's at. So I think that's a weakness and somewhere we can be stronger, and the Wolfpack will bring that connection together.
Well, Steve stole my first answer, which was the connect, but I think the other place where we could definitely use some work is on the motivate. We have chapters and members who are very motivated, and we have other chapters and members that are very much focused on their chapter and don't see the potential further in the organization and see the potential for running some really big things. And so I think the test of motivating is making sure that the people we're motivating, that they know that they're supported, and letting them know all of the amazing things that this organization can do and all the great things that we have. That it's not just the move up to the state board level and the national level. There's amazing things that this organization has that we can motivate our members for.
Good question. Good answers.
I know I saw Faye's hand. Thank you. Good morning, candidates. These are going to be individual questions for each of you, so I'll start with Steve. As a past state membership vice president, that's obviously something that's very close to my heart, so first of all, congratulations in taking this step. I would like to hear your ideas. If I think about this, I turned 41 in November, I'm about to complete my 18th year and I'm done. What are you doing to recruit those 23-year-olds, like what I was when I joined, so that we can continue to grow and build our organization, because that's the demographic that's, I think, most important to us right now. What ideas do you have to target those individuals who should be members of our organization?
Thanks, Faye. Great question. You kick butt as membership, so I do look up to you. It really, in order to inspire the younger generation of folks, or that were 27 or 25 or 21, we need to do what they're doing. And, you know, if we're older, I'm getting close too, I'm 38 years old, so we need to learn what they're doing, and part of it's communication. Communication has changed so rapidly that we don't communicate the same way as a 40-year-old as a 25-year-old does. So we need to make sure that we're engaging the ones that we do have that are younger to say, okay, what does it for you? You know, what inspires you, what motivates you, and how do we share that with other people that may not be JCs yet? And we better do it quick before we lose the opportunity to bring them in. And that's just part of inspiring the legacy and getting out there and having fun and showing people that this is something that everybody can connect with. There's something here for everybody. And it's just communicating that point to people that might not be our age. So using the people that we got to bring it to them.
Thank you. Sarah, my question for you, you kind of touched on your speech about being able to broaden the scope for our chapters to be involved with the SPE process and the competitions process. I would like to hear some more concrete ideas that you have to implement that. I think that, you know, we have a lot of chapters who do some really great things, and just because they don't want to go through the process of paperwork or coming to the service center to present, they don't get recognized for their hard work, and I think some of our chapters miss out on learning about those great programs, and so I'd love to hear some more concrete ideas that you have on how to do that.
Thank you. So one of the things that many of us who have been JCs for a few years know is right now, with the exception of third trimester, competitions and SPEs are happening on Friday night. And I know that's sometimes at conference, and I know that's sometimes difficult for members to make it there in time to be able to do those. So one of the things that my team has talked about is looking at what the options are. Is there a technology option that we could be looking at? Is there a way to do it on a different day earlier? I don't have any concrete answers because we're still trying to figure out how we can do these things. I know previous years' programming teams have also looked at the same issue, so I'm going to be relying on talking to the past year's programming vice presidents on what they've already looked at doing, but I do think it's definitely something that we need to be improving on, and there's got to be a way to do it. As far as getting the SPE information out, I think that there's a way for us to be able to share our programming and our local projects without necessarily having to go through the full SPE process. SPEs are for outstanding, amazing projects, and we have a lot of them. But we also have a lot of projects that members aren't necessarily submitting because they don't see them as blow out of the park amazing. And I think there's a lot of value in those projects and looking at them and being able to information share on those as well. So whether it's expanding upon the SPE database, whether it's creating some type of PMG document library that can be easily cross-referenced for chapters to look at that. Because I think we have a lot of information, it's just getting it to everyone in an efficient way that makes a difference.
Any more questions for our vice presidential candidates?
I knew he was here for a reason.
This question is geared towards Steve, but Sarah, if you have thoughts on this, I would love to hear them too. So my role this year is to work with national organizations on promoting the alumni program. How can we do that in Michigan, and what do you see as the benefits of more actively engaging our alumni?
Okay, so just very briefly, we have a lot of alumni and associates that don't fall into the category of senator or ambassador. And I think what we need to make sure we're doing is we need to make sure that we're recognizing those aged out members and valuing their opinion and getting some type of network that those associates have a connection other than their local chapter. I'm going to use my husband for example. He's a senator now, but when he aged out, there was kind of this void that happened on a state level because he wasn't a senator. Yeah, he was an associate in Westland, but he still had a lot of knowledge and information that he could share and help other chapters with that they didn't know about because he wasn't a senator and he's just a local associate. So I think building on that talent pool is a definite void that we could be filling.
Well done. And thanks again, Adam, for another great question. It's something that we've been talking about in my home chapter of Wyandotte for a while. In our bylaws, we have a position that you guys have talked about called the associate members. It's a $20 member fee, and you get to be an associate, which allows you to do everything basically but vote and run your own programs. And for 14 years of my membership, we didn't utilize that at all. And this last couple of years, we brought it together and said, hey, let's really do something with that. We got some of our past presidents involved, some of them were senators, and some of our current board leadership together, and said, let's really push this. And within a matter of a couple months, we had about 10 or 15 active associate members, including some current members, that were able to bring programming and leadership to our chapter. So I think it's really looking at the senators that chapters may have, or the older active members, kind of what Faye was talking about a minute ago, use those people to identify who some of those exhausted roosters are, or potential associate members, and start doing call-outs for them and do a meeting for them, let them kind of maybe work on some of their own programming, and it's a perfect tap to say, hey, how can we use your leadership and your ideas and bring them to our chapter as fresh ideas? And honestly, we were having some struggles with getting manpower to our events, and just adding the associates, even with 10 or 15 of them, we're able to achieve our goals without struggling. And I'll tell you, if you're at a project and you don't have enough people there to satisfy your manpower needs, it's not a fun time. And I'm sure a lot of our chapters have been there. So if you have another revenue to bring in some manpower and some help, even if they might be exhausted roosters or associates, it still makes it feel good, and it still makes it an accessible thing. And it's just another way to push the Jaycees into something that's accessible for everybody. So it's associate membership.
Great, thank you. Any further questions for our vice presidential candidates? Going once, going twice. Thank you both very much.
You're welcome, thanks.
Hello.
Hello.
This is a little scary, I'm not very good at this, but that's why they wrote me something. My name is Sandy Bradle. I'm current president of the Cara Jaycees, and I am here to introduce Adam. who's running for the 94th Michigan Jaycees president. And now I'm going to read, otherwise this gets scary. For those of you who do not know Adam, he has been a member of this organization since 1994, when he joined the Royal Oak Jaycees, now the Central Woodward Junior Chamber. He served multiple roles in his local board, most notably as their president in 2008. During that year, he turned their chapter around, taking from the brink of closing the chapter to growing them by 36 at the close of the year. For his effort, he was awarded President of the Year for the region, the Dennis Mullins Award, the Dave Lushwala Memorial Award, and the Martin P. Luthi Award. Since then, he has served multiple roles for the Michigan Junior Chamber, including Region Director, Executive Vice President Election Chairman, and this year, Chief of Staff. Adam is a 10th degree JC and Michigan Junior Chamber Life Member, number 440, and JCI Senator 72491. Beyond the roles held and recognition received, Adam is an exceptional JC for many other reasons. For example, he visited our chapter in the winter after driving 13 hours. He could have just went straight home, but he came to visit us after he said he would. Adam is truly embodies this organization's ideals and values. His passion as a parent to everyone he meets, his theme of Inspire Legacy demonstrates to all of us the way in which he views the Junior Chamber organization. Taking the individual members we have today, finding their passion and inspiring them, assisting to create the impact in their communities, that is what a foundation of legacy is. Adam truly believes that the members of the Michigan Junior Chamber are the future and that we need to do everything in our ability to empower them to be the very best that they can be. For all of the reasons above, I am proud to introduce my friend, Adam Nelson.
Steve, I got your notes.
Oh, you can read them.
You want me to do that one again? All right. Well, good morning, Michigan Jaycees. I'm really glad to see all of you here. And thank you to everybody that's going to be watching later tonight at home on the videos. I know Dan's going to get this posted immediately here. So thank you for making the trip all the way here to Lansing. It's important that you're part of the conversation. It's important that you are taking the time to be part of this conversation, so I know we're going to share our future gifts. But I want to take a little bit today, and I want to tell you a little bit about what I find is our legacy and what we're going to do going forward. Over the past years, people have been asking, who are we? What are we doing as Michigan Jaycees? And I believe we already know the answer to that question. We can look at Henry Giesenbier and how he defined this group when he initiated this junior chamber organization. He started it as a social organization, but he didn't find success until he found the answer that we were both a social and individual development group. And he took those people and he networked them together so that they could make an impact in the community. And he wanted that to go across the entire country. And we can also see how that answer influenced and was used when Williams Brownfield defined our creed. So read through that and you can see exactly what I believe who we are. So the question, I tell you, is not who are we, but how do we take the answers to those questions and use it to inspire us forward and to make our legacy for tomorrow. It's important that we don't just dwell on only that question, but we look at ways in which our organization can inspire legacy for tomorrow. What is it doing that I mean by inspire legacy? Well, legacy is not today, it's something tomorrow. So when you look at legacy, how is it defined? Well, it's defined by what we do today. It's not defined by what we say we're going to do. It's exactly only what we do. And that's what people remember. So how do we inspire this legacy? How do we help people understand how they can go forward with this? Well, I think there's three things to me that the 5 pillars represent. Connect, engage, and evolve. The first thing we need to do is we need to connect our JCs. We need to connect within our organization, and we need to connect our organization with others outside of our group. So it's important that the state board is an advocate for our chapters. The state is the one that binds our chapters together. So we may have our own individual efforts at the chapter level, but until we bind together, we cannot make the bigger impact that we need to make. And so being an advocate for our chapters is one way we can do that, and developing an integrated marketing plan is a way to help make that a little bit more successful. And so we're going to try and focus on being those advocates for our chapters. Exactly. The other thing we need to do is make sure that as we're engaging our members, that we're being able to bring them together. We want to make sure that we're removing as many barriers as we can for them to sign up and renew. So any way that we can remove those barriers will make it easier for them to stay connected and be involved in what we do. The other thing that we need to look at is how do we engage our members? We've done a great job of building our membership quarter after quarter, as Steve has said. But right now is the time that we need to activate those members. So every time we get a new member, every time we see current members, we need to remember to activate them and get them engaged. Fact. Engaged members are retained. Flat. That's it. As Steve said, after the first year, if you have an engaged member, 50% of those members are going to stay engaged and part of the Jaycees until they age out. The second year, 65% of those members that are engaged will stay part of our organization until they age out. And after 3 years, that number gets to 85%. We need members to stick around and be able to give back to this organization. Having been a member since 2004, I must be part of that 85%. The other way that we can help engage our members is to look at our alumni and our supporter base and other Jaycees and develop a mentoring program. There's a lot of great Jaycees that know a lot of great knowledge, and we just need to share that with others. It's proof that people who are successful, those that have had mentors, found that success because they've had that help. We don't need to figure it all out ourselves. A lot of people have come before us, a lot of people know, have tried things, and I, for one, really do want to learn from others because I made my own mistakes, and if I can share those with you and you can learn from those, that can only make things better for all of us. So having that mentor program can help pass on that knowledge. It can help people feel connected, engaged in our organization, make people feel comfortable and want to be around here and be able to start thinking about and innovating ideas for tomorrow. The final piece is evolve. Once we've connected and engaged our membership, we need to make sure that we evolve our organization. The times are changing, my friends. We need to change with them. Our members are changing. As we talked about, the millennials and the next group that's coming after them, they look at things differently, and we need to change with them. But we can't forget our core values. We have to maintain those while we still evolve into tomorrow. So today, people are looking for their tribe. And we don't have to be just about our chapter. It's bigger than that. It's our tribe. What is it that these people are looking for to find common interests, common ideas, and a common direction? So focusing more on tribe than chapters, I think, from the state level perspective, is a great way to connect people between districts, between chapters, and between members. And not only that, but with our communities. We also need to design these opportunities to allow people that once they're connected and engaged, that they can have opportunities to innovate ideas for tomorrow. If they feel comfortable and they drop their guard down, they're willing to participate, they're willing to find what's deep down inside and find what will innovate for tomorrow. So it's important that we continue to provide those ideas and opportunities to them so that they can help us strive for the legacy that we're looking for. So that's my vision for the future of our organization. I believe we need to connect, engage, and evolve for tomorrow. if we do that, we can find our legacy and we can build those steps that'll be our foundation then. But it's going to take all of us. Every single one of us is important. Without all of us giving our heart to the Jaycees and to helping members connect, we're not going to find that commitment and that legacy that we're looking for. So come join the conversation if you haven't already. Give me your ideas. Tell me how you want to be better. How does your chapter want to be better? And what can we do with those ideas to make the Michigan Junior Chamber better? So come and talk with others. Give us those ideas, because I want you to be the best that you can be. In closing, I believe that if we can find our personal legacies, then we can use those personal legacies to define who and what the Michigan Jaycees are and what our legacy will be for tomorrow. So please come join me at the Fall Leadership Conference in Big Rapids in September. Come and vote to support connecting, engaging, and involving our memberships to inspire legacy tomorrow. So thank you.
Thank you. So one thing I've noticed that's been really common today is everyone talking about fun and retention and keeping members and activating them. One of the things I've noticed over the years is that people use their logical brain every day, but being a JC, you use your creative brain. And I'm curious on how you would go about inspiring people to use that creative brain to allow themselves to have fun and excel in this organization.
Well, I think a lot of people know that as an architect, that it takes a lot to put together a plan and an idea. And when I go through a project, it takes a long time, maybe a year or 4 or 5 years, to be able to find that plan put into action. And it's at the end of when that plan is put into action that I find the fun in the architecture. And, there's fun along the way too, but my good friend Steve, he's an energetic guy, and thank God he's here because he's going to help us have a lot of fun. Woo! And Sarah's here. She loves to have fun, right?
Oh, yeah.
We've known each other a long time. We all have great ideas, and I think you got to roll your sleeves up and you just got to get into it. And when you get into it, you make those bonds and those connections with the other JCs, and you find out, what is it that you like to do? Who are you? Where do you want to go in this organization? Where do you want to go in your own career? And I think when you get to that point and you roll up your sleeves, you're going to find the fun and the enjoyment of this organization. There's a whole other lot of ways to maybe explain that, but I'm with you. Let's take this.
Adam, your wife is sending you a message.
Stop.
Did you see it?
Yes, I already know we're expecting.
Hi, Adam.
Hello, Adam.
It's good to see you up there. It's funny because Rebecca's question kind of made me think. I remember my first experience with the name Adam Nelson. You were a chapter president, and I was Sarah's strategic planning PM, and the initial blue chips were due, and you submitted this 94-page initial chapter plan blue chip that was all perfectly organized and detailed to the minute detail, which is one of the things that you are so great at. And I was really glad to hear you reference the 5 pillars in your speech. And you also kind of talked about my question a little bit in your answer to Rebecca's question, which is about the fact that things take multiple years to come to fruition. So next year, JCI is going to go through its every 5-year strategic planning process. Do you see that ever happening for Michigan? And if we can't really get to the point of adopting a multi-year plan, what can we do to make sure that best practices that we adopt stay in place for future years to come?
That's obviously a very good question, because we've been trying to answer that question for a long time. Yes, I think we can sit down and do strategic planning. I think there's some people in the room and people throughout the state that have experienced that, and they wonder, well, what does this do for us? And, you know, because we're a year-to-year organization with our leadership, it's a big challenge for us. But having that strategic planning opportunity gives people to see the bigger SWOT analysis of what the state can provide and the challenges that we're trying to solve. And if every chapter does that, they can utilize that information with a common core group of people to be able to help bring us from year to year and help us to take those things that we're trying to do and span them from more than just 1 year. The other way that we can do that, I think, is this mentoring idea. It's not new, but by you having mentors that we can pass on the knowledge. You know, we have a great alumni that still can help us. We have people that are not JCs, have never been JCs, that are in the business community that can help mentor us. And we need to be able to strive higher and further with those folks, and being able to use them will help us find the toolbox that we need, so that when we're giving the information to our new members, they've got the skill sets to be able to lead. And because those new members are growing up in this organization faster, we got to get that information to them sooner. So if we don't give them the toolbox that they need, with using mentors or whomever, then I think we're not doing the best that we can be. So ultimately it comes down to that. We have to give our new members and our current members the tools that they need to be able to use those things tomorrow. And that's how I think we solidify passing on the knowledge and the direction that we're going.
Hi, Adam.
Hola.
My question for you is, what is your plan to continue the path of inclusivity that Peter has done a really great job of laying down this year, making sure that everyone on the board and all of our members in the state really do feel involved as part of one team?
Obviously, it's important that we involve everybody. We need to have an inclusive environment. We need to have people feel comfortable in being in our groups so that they're willing to participate, they're willing to go beyond that first meeting and get engaged in what we do. I think the other thing that we struggle with, in past years, we were a bigger board, and so those numbers, a lot of them came from having district directors and region directors. And now, since we have essentially one region director, the membership vice president, we've lost a lot of those numbers in what I'll call the board of directors. Those people that are directly in our chapters that are boots on the ground. When you get into what I'll call the executive team, so the president, the vice presidents, secretaries, finance, training director, you know, we're looking at a lot of the administrative things that help run the state. And while our goal is to travel to all the chapters, we don't always get out there and see all of those things. And so we're trying to administer what we think is best, but we're not using those that are the boots in the ground as effectively as we could be. So the problem that we have is the board of directors no longer outnumbers the executive team. And so we have to make sure that together, all of us are able to do the job that we need to do to be able to bind our chapters together and give them the tools that they need. So we need to look at how the district directors can influence and be more engaged so that they're doing more than just listing out chapter events coming up, but that they're participating in the decisions and the direction that the state is. I think that's probably the biggest piece.
Bring it on, Faye.
I don't think this is a hard one, actually. You are in a very unique position to be the first state president candidate who was married to a past state president. First time this has happened.
I'm still very amazing.
It is kind of amazing. Some ran and lost, and I like your chances here. So my question to you is, what lessons did you learn from Sarah's year as state president that you will be able to incorporate to ensure that you have a successful year?
Well, as first dude, I tried to do the best I could. You know, trying to have fun is a really big component of what we do. I saw Sarah travel a lot, and she was in the chapters, and she was making those personal connections. And I think if we can make sure that the team is out in the chapters and helping each chapter meet each other, helping them find a way to be able to connect with each other within their chapter, and being the advocates for the chapters so that they can reach out to the businesses and the municipalities and the governments, their senators and representatives better. I think that's a great way that we can further where we're going with things. But yes, you're right, it was a unique situation. Following Sarah along, being in all the chapters, I think looking back, it's surprising how many chapters and how many people I've met. You look at my Facebook page, and I think I was talking with somebody the other day about this, is that when you look through your Facebook and you see all your friends, I've done the best I could to check mark that, who's a JC, so I can keep track, because there's so many of us that I've met. And Facebook keeps telling me I've made a new mile mark of meeting so many people. I don't know, I haven't shared that. That was kind of odd, but I haven't had people friend me, and I haven't accepted friends on Facebook that I haven't somehow met or interacted with in some way with the Jaycees. And so it's really cool that I've had a chance to know all of these people, and that, my Facebook page is personal, it's for me, and I've seen these friends. So I think that's the biggest piece of it, is making those connections and helping other people meet others.
Hi, Adam. My question for you is, I know that you're going to turn 41 when you're in office, is that correct?
Don't tell anybody.
But I know that allows, that you would be able to submit for any national awards. Will Michigan still be submitting for awards in the 2018 year?
As a chapter president and a member of Royal Oak, now known as Central Woodward Junior Chamber, our chapter historically hasn't really played a lot with the state. We find success and direction in what we do, and we haven't necessarily gone to the state level and submitted our chapter plans, submitted for awards, but that's because that's really the personality of our chapter. But when you get right down to it, it's important, because there's people that strive for that recognition. They may not, like me, I don't know if I really care to have that award. It's okay, I don't need that, but I gotta tell you, when you get that award, you get to go up on stage. That's pretty cool. It's a good time. And so, there are some challenges with being at the top level right now, and looking to how we can promote our chapters and how we can do it not only in our state, but across the nation and beyond. And, we're gonna have a great team together. There's gonna be a COB, there's gonna be vice presidents, there's gonna be people that have been on the training team, the programming team in the past. They're gonna know what to do, and we're gonna rely on them to help us pull those things together and get those things submitted. So, yeah, we're gonna submit, and we're gonna show everybody else how Michigan does it and that we do it well. And we want them to be able to follow our lead. And if they have great ideas, we want to see what those are so that we can use those to be better and innovative for ourselves. So we're going to reach out, and we're going to talk to other states as well.
Any further questions for Adam? All right. Thank you, Adam. She says, I get 1 minute, Kimmy says. Thanks for the timing. Good morning. The Jaycees has helped me grow as a person, and I would love to help D2 grow with new members. I would love to have new involvement with socials, training, and D2 projects. My hope with this will form better relationships between chapters and D2, so we can lean on each other like a family. When needed with questions or projects, I want to meet with each chapter board and see what is working and what is not working for their chapter. With breaking down of the walls of the distance between towns, I hope to bring the great ideas that we have as a whole and share them with each chapter. I will work with each chapter to come up with new ways to get new members to join the Jaycees and how to get current members more active. The way I plan on becoming closer as a family is having more training and impromptu competitions at each social meeting. That will break down the fears that some may have of doing competitions at actual JC competitions. If we can build self-confidence and show them it's okay to be nervous, but still work through it, that is very powerful and self-rewarding. I believe that most people need a little push to do these things, and I want to be that friend that stands next to them and breaks down their walls. I think this will really help D2, South Kent, Grand Rapids, Muskegon, and Allegan if we do these things. My hope is to be the go-to girl so you guys can lean on me if you have any questions or concerns, and if I don't know the answer, I will find out for you. So with that, I am going to...
Well, first of all, I want to thank all of the candidates and the candidates' teams for coming today and showing the state of Michigan what their plans are for 2018. And I also would like to thank Angela Klock for putting this event together. Thank you, Angela. Listening to everyone's platforms for next year, the Wolf Pack for membership, working with your district directors to make one team together to build our membership. Listening to our vice presidential candidate for programming talk about equipping our members. What was it, equipping members for programming? Tomorrow? Oh, close, kind of failed at that one.
You gotta quit.
Is really important because if we're looking to activate our current members and allow them to grow their leadership skills, we need to be giving them the tools they need. And then lastly, our 94th presidential candidate, looking to inspire legacy. That's really important because if you're developing in this organization and you've been here for 14 years, you really need to be making sure that the footprint that you're leaving is inspiring other people's legacies, not just your own. Now, to put that in perspective, I was standing there and everyone was talking about being here for 14 years and plus. I'm like, I've only been a member for 7 years. I've been a member for 7 years. I think I've gotten pretty involved. And I think it's really nice to see people that have been around substantially longer than that stepping up to lead this organization next year to continue to grow it. And then lastly, I'll just share with you, when I was driving here this morning, I was slightly excited. I'm like, this is kind of the beginning of the end.
Not really.
And then I started thinking, and I still got like 6 months left by the time I have to do February conference. So as much as I wish all the candidates for next year's success, we're still in 2017. Let's still finish 2017 strong, together as one team.
Together as one team.
Yeah. And in February I can be excited.
Then you have
Thanks for coming.
awards to submit for.
And with that, we will conclude today's event. Thank you all for coming, and we will look forward to the video posted shortly. And if you have any further questions, feel free to reach out to the candidates. There is a website that Jessica and her team has put together on the Michigan Jaycees page that has all of their information on there. And keep a lookout for potential more certified candidates to come. Thank you very much. Have a great day. Drive safely.